Hi, okay, so here's the DIY gearbox that's constructed from gears from 2 angle grinders. During the last flight I actually flew the craft for the whole charge of the battery, so perhaps 12-13 minutes, and it turned out to actually, the gearbox turned out to actually generate enough heat to sort of distort the housing of the gearbox, which is printed in PLA. So I really do have to take this apart, and quite frankly I will have to rebuild the gearbox housing from aluminum, I think. Here are the locking bushings that hold the propellers in place, and this is just such a great product. I bought them from Belting online. It's a UK based company, and the thing is, when you screw them together, they both clamp on to the shaft in the inner part there that I'm showing now, and the outer part expands at the same time, so it's both a clamping and a expanding mechanism. So if you have I have made some custom aluminum parts to fit on the propellers with a hole in it, so it expands in that hole and at the same time clamps onto the shaft with significant force, and everything is repeatable and precise. So if you torque down this nut that I'm screwing on now to a certain value, you get a certain gripping force. So it's just a super product, and it comes in various sizes, and there are actually a lot smaller sizes than this as well, and they go up to 25mm 1-inch bore. And yeah, here you can see the aluminum part I was speaking about. So it's expanding inside that and locking onto the shaft at the same time. Okay, let's go on and disassemble the housing here. You can hear that it's quite, there's a lot of friction in it now because it's out of alignment, and it's the small gears that I have gotten misplaced. The materials surrounding the small ball bearings, aligning them perpendicular to the center, has gotten out of alignment. So here's the bigger gear with this miniature ball bearing in the middle there, and another small ball bearing on the top. Yeah, they're great, these small ball bearings. They're very cheap and works super well for this kind of project. So here's the movement, but it's like I said, it's quite coggy and not at all smooth anymore. So the last minute of the flight, I noticed that I didn't have enough power to hover actually, so I really needed to land. I was quite surprised. I really didn't understand what it was, because it didn't, it didn't feel right. But it was just a matter of distorted PLA in the housing here. So here you can see the mechanism in action, and here's a close-up. Yeah, there's some molten plastic there, and here you can see the scars on the teeth of the gear there, because they have been misaligned and been forced to convey like 500-600 watt, almost a horsepower of power. So it's a lot of torque, and when they are misaligned, of course it won't work as it should. And you can see here some molten plastic, and yeah, so it's interesting. You're conducting some tests, and the previous test was only flying for a minute or two, and then landed and made adjustments to the flight computer or the structure. So I never did fly it for like 10-15 minutes continuously, and of course when I started to do that, new things emerged, and it turns out that there is some heat generated here, and since it's all baked into plastic, the the heat does not have anywhere to go. So the shafts and the bearings heated up and started to melt the PLA. And you know, like in the angle grinder context, you would have a aluminum housing, so a much better heat dissipation, and you would not run it like for 500, 600, and perhaps even up to 1 kilowatt continuously for a long time. You would probably like run the angle grinder for a long time, but it wouldn't be under heavy load for any long duration. So I need to redo this gearbox. I need to make it out of aluminum, I think. I might need to have an oil bath for it, but I think it will just be enough have an aluminum housing taking away like the heat. Here you can see the new position of the ball bearing in the housing there. Yeah. Oh wow, that's a big one. So I'm playing around with the like manned version as well here when it comes to the gearbox. So I'm starting to turn some metal parts for making the first tests of that gearbox, but it's a long way still. Okay. Anyway, that was the update of the last video, which missed the gearbox section. Okay. See you in the next one. Bye.